Let's have a look at our midstream environment and how drone technology is being successfully applied in this sector. Now, our midstream environment, we're particularly focusing on the transportation of hydrocarbons via pipelines. Now, these pipelines during the construction phase are very costly. The operating companies spend millions of dollars during the construction phase, not just on the construction, but paying out compensation claims to local government and private landowners. So now with drones, what the operating and construction companies are doing of these pipelines is getting drones to monitor the construction phase, right? And we can build data over time. So let's say the construction phase lasts for 1 year on a particular pipeline. We can now take data every month and every week and layer it and create a picture of how the construction phase evolved. But we can also look at the environment that we need to protect during our construction phase. And when we come to negotiations at the end of the construction phase with local government and private landowners, we now have data, right? Clinical data where we can prove how we protected the environment and how we protected the roadways and the vegetation and all the environment around us during this construction phase. In years gone by, it used to be a given that these operating companies and construction companies would just do lump sum payouts to landowners and local government during this phase. But now we use the data to be able to bring down the costs of those compensation claims. And then we can look at post the construction phase, when our pipeline is actually being operated and we have our hydrocarbons flowing through there. We are now being governed by the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, is telling us how far under the ground the pipeline needs to be at all times. So what we traditionally do, we fly a fixed-wing aircraft across this pipeline at about 1,000 feet with a visual observer looking at the right of way that the pipeline is buried under and trying to find any anomalies in the land. Remember, the EPA says a pipeline must be buried at least 3 feet under the ground at any one time. Well, fixed wing aircraft flying a pipeline at 1,000 feet with a visual observer, how much do you really see? Yes, you might pick up an anomaly here or there. But with drones, we can physically map the pipeline. And by mapping the pipeline, we can actually get elevation changes in the land. Right? And a drone in the air over a long distance is a lot cheaper than flying a fixed-wing craft. So over time, if there is erosion and the land moves, we can map our data and layer our data, and we can see where our elevation of our land has changed in a particular point, and that will tell us that there is erosion on the pipeline. Right. At the same time, we can do what's called OGI, and that's optical gas imaging. We can actually fly certain pipelines at low altitude with an optical camera, and this is going to find leaks for us on the pipeline. So the technology in the midstream environment is really moving fast. It's ongoing and dynamic, but drones are definitely part of the workflow, and they can support both the construction of the pipeline as well as the operation, because during the operation of the pipeline, yes, you are governed by the EPA, right? And the EPA will fine you if they find leaks, and the drones can help you avoid that and do your monitoring of your pipeline throughout the years and months. Right. So that was your midstream environment, focusing particularly on the pipelines, the construction and operation phase. Next, let's have a look at our downstream environment then, and let's move into our refineries and see how our UAV or drone technology can support our workflow. Right, so see you in the next section.